Hello, hello. Welcome to Just Jenna. You have no idea how excited I am that you're here. I'll be sharing the wisdom, questions, and curious little truths I've gathered along the way. From brilliant thinkers to weird memes, from ancient texts to the knowing of nature. Some of what I've learned came from books, some from breakdowns, some from simply paying attention, and some from fumbling through it myself. My hope is that these stories expand you the way that they've expanded me. So maybe, just maybe, you don't have to trip over the same parts of life I did. And if you do trip and fall, it's okay. I won't tell anyone. Hello, my little chickens, my little chickadees, my little baby bears, my little buffaloes, my little jaguar, zebra, fucking parakeets. I don't even know. You guys are all just like little animals to me. So am I. We're all just little animals, aren't we? Right? At the end of the day, let's get real. We're all just little animals. And it's so sweet. You guys, today I want to talk about miracles because I met this man. Classic. I feel like all of my stories are like, I met this person and they said something to me and it changed my life. But it's true. It's true. This is just, it's how I am. It's how I am. I met this guy and we were speaking and he asked me what my definition of a miracle was. And it was really hard for me to articulate because, like, think about it. Think about it to yourself. Before I get into it, think to yourself, what is the definition of a miracle? Think about it. I'll let you think about it. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Okay, now that you might have an idea of a definition of what a miracle is, what it means to you, I'm going to jump into what this man said to me. He said that a miracle is anything that rises above the level of nature. This being the nature of the world, the nature of one's environment, and the nature of oneself. He said this to me, and it felt like I started flooding with memories of all of the times in my life where I'm like, this is a miracle. Like, this happening to me is a miracle. And it is because it defied logic. It defied nature. And when I say nature, I'm not talking about like the natural order of things. I'm talking about like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Like, for example, me being out in California, like doing the do's, like where I come from, like it doesn't make sense. Like, it's a miracle. There's a lot of things in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, this totally miracle like category. This is what's happening right now. And it made me realize that to create a miracle in my own life, I have to go against the nature that I was given. And I'm able to reflect and be like, every single time I go against my nature, my biology, the way that I was raised, the conditioning, fears, and inherited, whatever, truths that were passed down to me, like generational trauma and just shit like that. Every time I go against that, a miracle in my life is produced. Every time I go against my habits, my knee-jerk reactions, my thoughts, the way that I was raised, a life path that was scripted for me, a miracle happens. And a miracle for me isn't something like this supernatural, like flash of light, right? It's when I do something that on paper shouldn't be possible given where I come from. I grew up in a very like be realistic environment. Like, everyone has always told me that my dreams were too big, and there were expectations that have been placed on me that I just genuinely do not wish to hold. The worldview that has been passed down to me, the town I grew up in, none of it logically leads to the woman that I am now. None of it. None of it predicts the moves that I've made. And what shouldn't have happened has happened. And I realize it's because I've gone against my nature. I understand now that when my decisions don't make sense to other people, or even myself really, it's a sign that I'm in miracle territory. When something looks irrational on the outside, but it feels right to me, that's when miracles emerge in my life. And that's at least like what this phase of my life kind of feels like to me. Like when I'm walking around doing the things, meeting the people that I am, and embarking on the journey that I'm embarking on, I'm like, whoa. Because when I override my instinct to shrink and be small and be performative and people pleasing, whatever, when I override that, when I choose honesty, because as we all know, my word of the year is truthfulness and honesty. So when I override not being 100% honest with myself, I override that, and I am just like choosing this honesty over familiarity and like over these other things. When I follow my intuition and my heart over logic and programming, every time I go against my nature, I create a new one. And I know that I'm doing this for generations to come. Because this is just something, it's bigger than me. It's something that's been guiding me my entire life. And the way that this man explained a miracle has been able to help me understand, like, oh, I have been doing this. And the reason why I want to share this with you all is because so can you. So can you. We all can. I started thinking about some of the ways that I used to be and how I got out of it. And I kind of want to just share it with you all, because who doesn't want to be living in a reality where there's like miracles popping up? Because miracles defy time, right? Miracles defy these things. Who doesn't want to wake up and their whole world changes in like a more positive way? I do personally. Sorry, there I said it. I want to live a very delicious and fun and fabulous, fantastic, happy, joy-filled life. Baby, we all can, right? We all can. When I was younger, when I say younger, I mean like my teenage years and early 20s. You know, I'm in my mid-20s now, okay? So I have so much wisdom just brewing inside of me. I say that with the awareness that I know nothing. So also just take all of this with a grain of salt. This has helped me. Perhaps it'll help you. Maybe it won't. I have no idea. But regardless, when I was younger, I was kind of like this self-abandoner, if you will. And I made this like radical decision, this radical choice to like choose myself, right? This sounds very fluffy. It sounds fluffy, but just stay with me. So my conditioned nature was self-abandonment equals safety. If I abandon Jenna, I will be safe because then I will be a part of the group. Growing up, it was and this is a blanket statement. So everyone just, again, take it with a grain of salt. But growing up, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, love was earned through pleasing, through adjusting myself, being easy, and being digestible. Okay? Going against my nature, the first time I said, I'm not going to betray myself anymore to make someone else feel comfortable. I'm going to choose what I want. And I'm not abandoning myself this time. This is a miracle because your childhood wiring is screaming you to fall back in line, and yet you choose yourself. This one little act, this one redirection, this one rewiring of your brain, this one time you choose to not abandon yourself can redirect your entire life, your entire relationship pattern, and your lineage. And I know that's so like, your lineage, yes, it can. Yes, it can. I've seen this behavior a lot in some of my most deeply cherished friends. And it's the conditioned belief that staying small is to stay safe. And I believe this conditioned nature is learned. Also, all these things are learned. Like, again, remember, we're not going to beat ourselves up ever. We're never going to do that. We're going to look at all of this with curiosity and grace and kindness. Oh my God, hello. But you learned that staying invisible was survival, that attention was somehow dangerous. Look back at your childhood if you've ever felt that way, or even like your teenage years, your adolescent years, or even now. It doesn't matter. Okay? But somehow attention was dangerous. I don't know, maybe you're the younger sibling and you saw your older sibling who had all the attention on them and they were like a bad, quote unquote, bad kid. They got detention. Maybe they went to jail. I don't know. Like, and you were like, I can't have attention on me because it is bad. And you saw your parents suffer because your older sibling who got all the attention on them was in jail or all these things. Or maybe you had another sibling, or maybe this doesn't have to do with siblings. I have a sibling, so I relate a lot of my stories through the lens of having a sibling. But maybe you had a sibling that struggled in school, and so they got so much attention on them. And then you realized, oh my God, I don't want to cause my parents stress, and therefore I will be invisible. I'm going to do everything perfectly so that I don't have any attention on me, right? Or maybe dreaming big isn't for people like you. You don't want to be a big dreamer because in your family that is like a sign of like that's not safe. And being seen equals being judged. So going against your nature in this way, speak up. You start showing your dreams. You apply for the job. You walk into a room like you belong there and you let yourself be witnessed. You let yourself have attention on you without shrinking. You give people the chance. Everyone's a sovereign being. You have to just let people have a chance to witness you. It's up to them what they do with it. It's not for you. You don't need to shrink yourself. Because visibility, the reason why this is a miracle is because visibility requires rewiring the deepest primal fear, which is if they see me, they can hurt me. No. When you finally step towards anything, stepping towards anything instead of shrinking, this is a rebirth. This is an absolute rebirth. You don't need to stay small to stay safe. This is just conditioning. This is just the way your brain is telling you it needs to work. And it's not true. Go against it. Go against your nature. If this is in your nature, go against it. A miracle will happen. I don't even know what the miracle is. All these miracles are infinite. Okay? They're infinite. Another example, which I feel like anyone listening to this probably they get it. This one hits home for me, okay? The person who stops replaying their family's script. Now, when I say this, going against your family's script isn't good and it isn't bad. Doing something progressive isn't good and it isn't bad. Doing something traditional isn't good, it isn't bad. Okay? I'm just saying, if going and following a path that was given to you doesn't feel good in your bones, if in your spirit, in your soul, something else is speaking to you, go against it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the script is wrong or the script is right. I'm saying that if you don't want to be doing something and you need to go against your nature, this is what I'm speaking about here. So if your conditioned nature is repeating this cycle because, quote unquote, this is just how things are, and that doesn't feel right for you, or choosing the same relationships that you've seen repeated over and over and over again, or living the same story that you've already seen over and over and over again, and you don't want it, carrying the same limitations, you don't want to be a part of it. Going against nature, you become the first one in your family to do it differently. You set boundaries. You leave the town, you get on the plane, you get on the train, you get in the car. You break the pattern everyone before you has unconsciously followed. This is a miracle because this isn't just going against your nature, this is going against generations of nature. And it's the kind of shift that invisible, and I believe this for me in my life, I believe this is the type of shift that my ancestors are exhaling at. I believe that. It's this miracle that rewires an entire bloodline. That is what I believe that I am doing by going against the script, by forging my own path. I also believe in the exact same breath, staying on the path can also produce the same result of rewiring a whole bloodline. To to shift nature. I do believe that as well. Again, I hope this is coming across as like, it's not that speaking up is going to produce a miracle, or maybe perhaps shutting up is going to produce a miracle, or following your family's path is producing a miracle, or not following it. It's none of it is good, bad, right, or wrong. None of it. None of it. Everything is neutral. It's just going against your nature. And you're the only person that knows. Like, I'm saying this, and I'm just kind of like speaking out fluffy duffy. You are the only person that knows in your heart and in your spirit if, like, what you need to be doing. Because let me repeat this. A miracle is anything that rises above the level of nature. The nature of the world, the nature of one's environment, and the nature of oneself. Okay? If you want to produce a miracle, you need to go against the things that are keeping you stuck in patterns that you do not want to be in. Got it? Get it, got it good. Get it, got it good. I think a lot of people can probably relate to this as well. This is more about like emotions and vulnerability. Like if you grew up in a home where emotions were met with judgment, or your first relationships, your emotions were met with judgment, or it doesn't really matter, to be honest, where it comes from. But if you do, I'm like, has anyone never felt this way? There's no fucking way. Anyways, but whatever. If your learned nature becomes like, I can't cry, I don't speak up, and I don't share what hurts, I am telling you, the first time you say, actually, that hurt my feelings, or I need to talk about something, your entire life will shift. Your relationships will deepen, or they'll break apart, which is also, that's great too. Everything's great. Self-respect is born. And a miracle is able to take place because you're going against your own nature. If you were raised to be the responsible one, I was raised to be the responsible one who never needs any help. Jenna never needs any help. Jenna can take care of herself. Everything that is ever existing, Jenna can do it. Jenna can take care of it. My learned nature became that I handle everything alone. I don't burden people ever, never. Oh, good. Oh, never, never, never. And I must stay strong. I've noticed that miracles have taken place the day that I say, can you help me? I need help. Or I'm struggling. In this area. I need help. I just open myself up to it rather than always being like, I can't burden people. I will never talk about it. I must figure everything out on my own. No. Support has flooded into my life. People have showed up for me, and miraculously, my nervous system feels what safety actually is. Not this bullshit belief that I have to do everything on my own and that I can handle everything on my own. No, I can't. But I was raised with the conditioned belief that I am the responsible one. Okay? And that's just like how it's manifested. And I'm like, no, enough is enough. This is actually causing me more suffering than it is helping me. Boom, rewire, boom, go against my nature. I've heard from a lot of people as well that a lot of times people in life, conflict was dangerous in their childhood. Perhaps your learned nature in this way becomes like avoiding confrontation at all cost. Or you're always keeping the peace, and instead of speaking up, you're just going to shrink because you never want to address any issues. So many people avoid confrontation for whatever reason, doesn't matter. But the moment that you speak up and say, actually, I'm not okay with this. Actually, can we talk about something? You have the possibility to change the trajectory of your entire adult life. You're able to create boundaries that your child self never had. We don't know about these things when we're young, okay? We know about these things now. Time is of the essence. I had a situation where I was living with someone at one point where it felt like I was walking on eggshells with them. And it was horrible, to be completely honest with you. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Being in relationships with people, living with people, working with people where you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around them. What you learn through walking on eggshells is that you're hyper aware of other people and you have zero awareness of yourself because you're not thinking about how I'm feeling. You're only thinking about how they're feeling. That's why you're walking on eggshells. You're constantly thinking, what will they think? What will they think? What will they do? What will they do? And it's controlling every move that you make. That's why you're tiptoeing on eggshells. A miracle happens when you make the choice based on your truth, not the other person's. And you will realize when you stop walking on eggshells and tune in, how am I feeling? What is going on with me? And you stop being so hyper aware about the other person. You realize, guess what? The world doesn't collapse. And guess what? You thought you were walking on eggshells. No, actually, you were walking on concrete. You were fine the entire time. It was this illusion of walking on eggshells. You don't need to tip around. Put your boots on, get walking. You're fine. Everything's okay. Now, I want to talk about anger, but use interchangeably anger here. If maybe anger, sadness, grief, excitement, I don't even know, whatever your word is. But if you were taught somewhere along the way, if your nature now believes, if your conditioned belief is that anger is bad, or sadness is bad, or whatever emotion is. At one point in my life, like, I was petrified to be seen as angry. So I'm using the word anger. So instead of being angry, you smile through discomfort, you freeze, you shut down, you never express it, you never express the emotion. If sadness is dangerous for you, if sadness is bad, you hold it all in, you don't express it. A miracle will happen when you allow yourself to feel the emotion and you express it honestly. Now, let me just say, you can be angry, but you don't need to be mean. Period. Period, period, period. You're allowed to be angry, but you don't need to be mean. And you don't apologize for it. You don't apologize for having this feeling. Allowing this to happen will be the first time that you allow yourself to meet yourself, to truly meet yourself where you're at. It's incredible. Now, if you were like me, and you had this whole, if you were taught to like be the good girl, the polite girl, you know what I mean? Maybe you're a boy. Perhaps you felt that way too. It's just like, I feel like it's like that good girl energy, okay? This manifests into your nature, into your conditioned belief that you don't take up space, you're not too much, and you don't draw attention. Lame. So the miracle happens when you speak on a microphone, like I'm doing now, like, because this was one of my shadows I really had to get through. You speak on the microphone, you tell your story, you walk into a room like you belong there, everything starts aligning for you because it's true. Go against your nature. I just wanted to bring this concept up to people because, well, I don't really know why. I don't know why. I've had an urge since, I don't know, my entire life to talk about certain things. I don't know why I want to start a podcast. I know why, but I also don't know why at the exact same time, if I'm being completely transparent. I just have this urge to talk about these things to expand your mind, expand your awareness. Perhaps you realize that, like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And hey, I would like to create miracles in my life. And I know a lot of this had to do with more like personal things and like interpersonal things, relationship sort of things. But you can take this into the scope of like work as well. I just don't talk about work that much. But like, if something isn't going your way in terms of your job, you hate employment, you hate what's going on. If the way you got to that point, look back, you're the only one that can do this. You got to look back. How'd you get there? If you are the type of person that, I was just speaking to someone about this yesterday. So this is actually a good example because I used to do this as well. And so did he. He would like, and I would force ourselves into like employment. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to force myself here. I'm going to show up. Like, let me in, let me in, let me in. And to produce a miracle, you got to go against your nature. So he and I are both going against our nature by being like, you know what? I'm going to be receptive and I'm going to flow and I'm not going to force myself into this situation. I'm going to allow something to come to me. A miracle is bound to take place. It is. Maybe, and again, I want to reiterate that just because like, oh, I'm going to like be more flowy and I'm going to be receptive. I know that sounds better than force, but it's not. both of these things are just neutral things. So maybe you're actually the type of person that has been in a state of like flow and reciprocity, whatever, where you're in a state of receiving, and that's not working for you. Maybe you do need to apply more force, apply more action, apply more like busting down a door a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of these things are right and wrong, good or bad. Nothing ever is. And also, take everything that I say with a goddamn grain of salt, because I am just Jenna. I am just Jenna, okay? And you're just you. How wonderful is that? Perhaps you can reflect on some of these things. Perhaps you can look at an area of your life where you're like, it feels like I'm in cement. Feels like I'm in a quicksand. Like I don't like what's going on over here. Look at it. Take some inventory. What am I doing? How did I get here? What type of intention, what type of action, what type of attitude, what type of mindset got me to this point? And if you don't like it, go against it. Do the opposite. Do the opposite of what your brain is telling you. Do the opposite of all of it. Just try and see what happens. I bet a miracle takes place. It's happened for me time and time again. Go against your nature. Go against your nature. A miracle happens the moment you stop acting like the person your past taught you to be. I feel like I want to end it on a mic drop. That was pretty good. That felt pretty good. Okay, you guys. My little chickens. Let's be graceful and grateful and lovey and dovey and horrible and mean all at the same time. Yeah. We're going to be everything. The full spectrum. Well, not mean. We don't need to be mean. But regardless, you know what I'm saying, don't ya? You know what I'm saying? Okay, I love you guys. I really do. Anyone that listens to this, you have to be the sweetest of your flock. You have to be, because I'm like, are you kidding me? You just listened to me talk about miracles. So sweet. So sweet. Yeah. You know what? If anyone is listening to this and you like what I'm saying, can you please share this with someone? And I'm not saying you need to share it online. I don't give a shit about that. Okay? Trust. If you feel like you want to, you can do that as well. But I'm like, share this with someone that you give a shit about if you think they could benefit from it, because that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about, baby. Okay? We want our friends, our loved ones, even strangers, to elevate to their highest potential, to produce miracles in their life. We all deserve it. And it's possible, simply with our mindset shift and then taking aligned action. Oh, okay. I always ramble at the beginning and at the end for like 5 minutes. And I'm just going to stop now. I'm going to stop now. All right. I love you guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.